Well, here we are for session 1 of Learning to Tell Myself the Truth. This is not exactly what I envisioned for our first session, me videoing the session from my home, but the weather is just not permitting us to gather together at the church building tonight. So I thought, what better way to kick the devil than to just go forward with our study anyway. So that's what we're going to do. Unfortunately, it's just going to be one-sided. I was hoping to have a little more interaction, but at the very least, I hope that you'll be able to watch this and follow along. And we will be together next week. So we'll meet on Thursday, January 11th at 6 p.m., and it's going to be a great time. Just so you know, at this time, I am planning to continue with the schedule that I sent to you originally. So the material that I'm going to cover right now will be pages 13 through 34, and then next week we'll pick up with the next session that we have assigned for January 11th. Well, I wanted to start this evening by reading to you the psalm that Sarah shared on Sunday, which, by the way, if you weren't in church on Sunday, I hope that you will go to Facebook and listen to 3 great messages by Alex Martino, Jaden Mignot, and Sarah Tether. They did a great job talking about a fresh start. So Sarah did share from Psalm 40, and this is a verse that has meant a lot to me, and had a lot to do with my recovery out of depression and anxiety. And it says, "I waited patiently for the Lord to help me, and he turned to me and heard my cry. He lifted me out of the pit of despair, out of the mud and the mire. He set my feet on solid ground and steadied me as I walked along. He has given me a new song to sing, a hymn of praise to our God. Many will see what he has done and be amazed, and they will put their trust in the Lord." There's a lot in this passage, and Sarah breaks it down, and so I hope that you'll check it out on Facebook. But I just wanted to point out what it says at the very end here, that after the Lord lifts us up and we walk along, he will give us a new song, and others will see what God has done in our lives, and they will then put their trust in the Lord. And that's really my hope and my prayer for this group, that God will take what he did in my life and do it for you too. And so I just want to tell you that I am so proud of you for making the commitment to read this book, Learning to Tell Myself the Truth. It's really going to make a powerful impact on your life. But I will say that it's going to take effort on your part. I admit that I read this book 3 times. The first time that I read it, I'll be honest, I just kind of surface read it, if you know what I mean. I didn't really answer the questions in the book. I didn't follow through on the assignments. And so guess what? It really didn't make much of an impact on my life the first time I read it. It did help, but it really didn't change me until I really worked the book. And did the assignments and started putting into practice the recommendations by the author. So I wanted to start this evening by just reading to you Dr. Backus's words. At the beginning of the book, he writes a letter, and it says, "A word from Dr. Backus." I'm not going to read the whole thing. You can read it. It's on pages 9 and 10. But I just wanted to share the end of his letter, where he says that he wanted to give you a strong word of encouragement. By simply picking up this workbook, you are a hero or a heroine. And by taking this action, you are saying to yourself that change is possible. And even if you are somewhat skeptical. Secondly, I believe you are a person of courage, making a commitment to look honestly at yourself, your relationships, and your circumstances, and make healthy changes takes courage. And so I just want to echo Dr. Backus's words and tell you that I'm really proud of you, and you are a person of courage. And just keep going. Just keep going. All right, so here we go. I'm going to just share some notes and things that I had pulled out from the book. And again, I apologize, this is one-sided. I was hoping that this would be more of an interaction, but hopefully this is better than nothing. So, Dr. Backus first basically addresses something that he calls self-talk. And basically, self-talk is that internal monologue. It's what we tell ourselves. And what he points out, especially on page 14, is that self-talk determines our feelings and our actions, our moods and our habits. And we often blame people or the circumstances or situations in our lives for the feelings and moods that we have. But it's actually our thoughts and what we say to ourselves, our self-talk, that causes our feelings. And so he brings this out in the book. I hope that you'll be reading along. So he points out on page 15 that you feel the way that you think. So what we have to remember is that our feelings follow our thoughts, and it's not the reverse. And it will take practice, but we can all learn to monitor our self-talk. So I was